If I tell you something, you could take it to the bank
Yeah,
and
yeah,
cash it. That's what I used to tell my kids. I
yeah.
say, you better take my advice. Because if I tell you something, you can take it to the bank and cash it.
Oh,
And
yeah,
then they would always,
yeah.
listen to what I said, hopefully.
And it sounds like they have.
My
So,
kids are great. My kids are great. They're out there busting their ass. They've been doing it their whole lives.
at what
And
point
that's
did they
why when
start?
I die, they're going to take over. And, plus they're partners already.
At what point did you make it a family business, or did they grow
Ever
up in
since they were able to work.
Yeah,
It was this thing. It's not, listen, little Ben was riding around. He'd take my I had a big old black Mercedes when I was in California.
uh-huh.
And, he was like, just got his license, 16, whatever. He'd take the weed eater. He'd take the blower. He had a big trunk and a big Mercedes, He fit two bodies in those things. It was a 560 SEL.
Oh, the big one.
And
Wow.
this is back in the 1980s, 90s.
Mm.
So he put all the tools in the trunk, and then we lived like in the middle of the hill there, right above
yeah.
the bottom of Oakland, which was very dangerous.
Oh, that's a
where we had
dangerous
apartments.
spot, yeah.
And he'd go drive down there, go to the apartment building, 16, whatever. But he was always smart. All right, I'm gonna tell it like it is. He had this one. Well, all our friends were black because it was a black neighborhood. But he had this one. He always took his black friend with him. But nobody put him because they knew I was a landlord.
Mm.
Even the drug dealers didn't put him.
Yeah.
They knew I was a landlord and they didn't put us because they knew I don't know. It's not that I was a tough guy. I wasn't a tough guy. I'd rather get along with people.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
easy to get along with somebody than just to fight with them.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
So, you got to just understand everybody's perspective. Put yourself in their shoes and, and for a minute, and try to look at the whole situation. So anyway, long story short, he'd get in there, he'd go weed eat, and blow and clean up the fronts of the apartment buildings.
Oh, you put him to work.
And then, he went to college
Yeah.
and he just partied for a year. He was a smart kid, but he just mostly partied.
Had
And
fun.
I went up there to visit him, and he's sitting in college up in he picked the college he picked. You know what the basis for him picking his college was?
What was that?
Because it was the one where they filmed Girls Gone Wild. That was his basis for picking a college. So he goes to Chico State in California because Girls Gone Wild was filmed there. And that's where he wants to go to school.
Mm-hmm.
And I go up there after about a year or whatever, first semester, whatever you call it. And I look, I said, these are not grades. This is like a joke.